meeting using it, and once me and her sit down, she feels good about it, then we'll have to have an online training. And we'll probably have to put Chromebooks up here, but we'll get it done.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome. Thank you all for being here tonight. And I would like to ask Rachel, would you like to come up and lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Rachel.
We're used to moving, and now we don't have to.
Yeah, it's not back here.
It's like
360.
Just a reminder, there is a sign-in sheet up front if you'd like to sign in. And do we have any revisions?
Just a couple under facilities. The Area Technology Center, it will be item number D, and it's a multi-vista addition for the alternate when we took the alternate, so it's just a multi-vista addendum to our contract. And then under consent, item K, we'll just strike other and put emergency certification for a middle school English teacher. And those are the only revisions.
Okay, first on the agenda we have recognitions, and we will start with our mountain movers.
And Miss Summer Evans, our student board rep. You guys will still help her.
Okay, well, bear with me here. We'll try to make it through our first one and get it out of the way. All right, so we're going to begin with the classified mountain mover. And this month is Miss Kathy Hall. Miss Kathy is a custodian at West Urban Intermediate. She has worked at West Urban for 18 years. Miss Kathy says she started working at West Urban and it was just a job, and it has turned into so much more. She doesn't see it as a job, just a job, and the little ones aren't just kids. She said you can have a terrible day and some little person will just come up and give you needing a hug and everything is better. She still gives hugs and hopes she will always get them. Congratulations. I have a medal. Thank you.
Like that. Kathy, just go with it.
You get to go to steam engine.
Thank you.
Miss Donna, you want to do this one?
Okay, so next we have the certified mountain mover, and this is Mr. Allen. Mr. Britton is the band director at the Estill County Middle School and is the high school pep and marching band assistant. This is his 4th year with the Estill County School District. Mr. Britton started his teaching career in Hardin County. Mr. Britton says he loves his job, and because he loves what he does, it doesn't feel like work. Mr. Britton remembers the day he knew he was destined to teach. A teacher allowed him to stand up in middle school and teach the class. That sparked something, and he has never turned back. Mr. Britton says he remembers being a middle school student very well, and he enjoys working with middle school students and seeing them grow and mature into young people. Congratulations.
Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Our last one here is for the community mountain mover, and we have Honchels. So Honchels Men and Boys Clubbing has been in business for 49 years in Estill County. The impact that Honchels and their business has had on our community is remarkable. They provide excellent service to our students during prom season, many times going the extra mile for those in need during that time. They have employed many of our high school students over the years and have 2 on staff right now. They are frequent sponsors of sporting teams and activities. Mr. Honchel says that connecting with your community and its citizens is a must for small business success. He says they have strived to treat the guy with nothing the same as the guy with plenty. We don't have to.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Energy Star Schools.
I'm going to ask Mr. Jeremy Simpson if he'll come up and make a presentation for our 2 Energy Star schools.
This year we have 2 Energy Star schools. Just to read off from the Energy Star website what is required to become an Energy Star school. You have to adhere to certain energy performance standards set by the EPA. Specifically, to be eligible, a building must earn an Energy Star score of 75 or higher, indicating that it performs better than at least 75% of similar buildings nationwide. Through Portfolio Manager, EPA delivers a score of 1 to 100 on Energy Star scores for any type of different buildings, and the score amounts for differences in operating conditions, regional weather data, and other important considerations. And certification also is on an annual basis, and it must maintain a high performance to be certified year to year. And then once you have certified that information, or you've actually submitted the information, it has to be certified by a licensed professional engineer or registered architect to be eligible for approval, which we did through CMTA Engineering Firm. So the first Energy Star
West Urban.
is West Urban. So Charlotte Urban will come on up. Or anybody. So this right here is their Energy Star. I'm sure they will want to put this in a nice frame and mount it for everyone to see, as well as a sticker for their window for everyone to see.
Could we possibly get their kids to come up as well? Because this is,
They do help, because you know we're
they do
constantly
help.
closing doors and turning off lights.
it takes our students working with us to make this possible.
Sure does.
So this is a big honor.
Yeah, for when they didn't have it.
Understand? Now this is why they're Energy Star. They don't even have lights, no heat.
We build fires and we don't.
Candles and coal fire. You have a big pot of beans every day for lunch.
Sorry.
Don't be trying to take my stuff.
Hey, you're not Mark. Put it in there. Thank you. The second school that has Energy Star certified is Estill Springs. As you know, we did a complete renovation of that building here recently. It was really bad before the renovation, but now with an all new HVAC systems, all new electrical with LED lighting, as well as maintaining all of the temperature settings within the building, rolling those back when no one is in the building, has really allowed the school, on average, as of right now, if I'm not mistaken, since the completion of the renovation, they're saving roughly right now between 30 and 40% every single month as compared to this time last year. So it's a big deal to be able to get this, and especially have that building, because every single bit of energy that building saves is less money we have to pay in energy costs, and that's more money that we can put towards educating our students. So, is anybody here for Brooke? Come on, Brooke, you can take this.
You want to come up here?
That'd be good.
There you go. Come on. You want to hold it?
We've got a few more here.
Oh, come on up. That'd be great.
I know she goes. She has a jaw.
Well, y'all want to hold this while I take the picture?
That's so sweet.
Have hair?
It wouldn't help. Thanks, sir. No. Ms. Summer, if you'll come back up, I want to take this moment and I'll let you hand the certificates out, but I want to take just a moment to recognize our Board of Education. January is always School Board Member Month in the state of Kentucky. And as you know, that behind every great school system, you have to have a group of people that are willing to really sacrifice a lot of time, put up with a lot of nonsense sometimes, but yet they come into this room each and every month, and sometimes more often than that, and they make the decisions that are best for kids on a daily basis. And I think about some of the changes that we've had over the 5 years that I've been here. It's a pleasure to work with these 5 people. For instance, right now, most people don't even realize it, but we've got $17 million of construction going on right now in this school district. When I arrived at this school district, we only had a bonding capacity of $1.5 million. That's because of the work of the board, along with the community's willingness to be able to help us in this endeavor. And I'm just thankful to have such a good board to be able to work for a great group of people. I hate that Brian's not going to be here tonight, but I'd ask Miss Rhonda Hardy, our chair, to come up. And I'll let Summer present the certificates. And I'll hold the rest of them. You want to just get a one, or you want to get a group, or however you want to do it? Yeah. And more pictures for the garden. Miss Donna Isford, our vice chair. Miss Julie Jo Neese. Miss Sheila Samples. I think, as we said earlier, Mr. Covey is traveling for work today. He was trying to get here, but he's not going to be able to make it, but we have a certificate for him as well. Let's give our board a round of applause. Thank you. And again, for those of y'all that don't recall, Summer is our student representative to the Board of Education, and she'll be here at every board meeting, and she participates in discussions whenever she feels like participating. She's a full-fledged member of the board, with the exception she doesn't get a vote, and, by law, sorry, and she doesn't get to listen into personnel matters or go into closed session, but I'm really thankful for Summer's willingness to serve, and I'm thankful for the fact that she's a fantastic young lady who represents our high school very well, and we'll do this each and every year. Next January, we will choose the next junior that will step in and serve the board for a year, and it just gives them an opportunity for leadership, opportunity in their community, and she can also be a voice back to the student body. So we're really thankful for you, Summer.
It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate you all and your consideration of it. Thank you so much.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have a school presentation in West Urban Elementary.
Welcome, guys. We appreciate y'all being here today. We'll have a screen right there next board meeting, or I'm gonna whip somebody. It's upstairs.
We're working on it.
Yeah. You wish you had her.
Worked on the 13 colonies, and so they put together, we did a colonial fair the week we came back from Christmas. They worked hard, and they're here to present the colonial fair to you.
Good evening. Thank you so much for allowing us to come and present about our 5th grade Colonial Fair. The Colonial Fair was the final project in our unit of study about the colonization of America.
Throughout the unit, we used various primary and secondary sources to gather information about the colonies. We read text, observed pictures, watched videos, and researched on the internet to gather information. While researching about our particular region and colony, we pinpointed the important information to share and used a read it to guide us. While gathering important facts about the colonies, the skill of combining multiple resources helped us to make the presentation.
Once we gathered all the information about our colony, we worked with our presentation group to decide how we were going to present the information to the 3rd and 4th grade students. There were several options of ways to present the information. Some groups created posters, trackball boards, PowerPoint, dioramas, speeches, and models. Everyone worked extremely hard.
After we chose and designed our presentation, coming up with different ways to present the information was our favorite part. Some groups made models to go along with their presentation. Others included pictures or games to present.
Lastly, on the day of our colonial fair, we were able to share all the information we had learned with the 3rd and 4th grade students. The students rotated through our classroom and were able to hear the presentation from each group. It was amazing to see classmates who are normally very shy or quiet step out of their comfort zone and do a fantastic job presenting.
Here are some exclusive pictures from the 1700s. Thank you again for allowing us to come share our colonial fair with you. We feel it was a great experience for the students and staff at West Urban. It was neat to see our hard work and learning come to life. Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Time, I guess, if people want this skedaddle.
Yeah, I'm gonna let them.
Yeah, let them get back.
Okay, before we move on, if anybody wants to step out, feel free to, even though we'd love to have you stay.
And we just want to say, as board members, this is one of our favorite things, to see what's going on in the classroom. So good job, guys, and we appreciate you coming so much.
Thank you, guys.
She said she wants to stay. She wants to stay. I'll be here watching the ball game and she said she wants to look. I'll let her know. Just tell her to come out there.
So cute. That is awesome. That was so cute.
Thanks, Krisha.
Thank you all.
Thank you
Bye,
all.
Larry. Bye, Barcia.
Thank you. Yes, you saved me a seat, or I'll save you one.
Hey, Larry. Littleman says there's nothing better than coming to Honchels and letting you dress him.
I thought he broke his ankle.
I did too. It scared me half to death.
Yeah, you're good.
Thank you.
We all thought he broke it. No, at the game. Okay. I'll be right here.
No, I don't think so.
And the trainer time, like running across the gym, and I was like, oh gosh. I was like, oh gosh, this is not good.
Okay, so next on the agenda, we have to approve the nutrition and physical activity report.
Well, I hate to inform everybody, but Miss Melinda is sick and has the flu.
Oh,
So she emailed this morning, was worried to death about not being able here to present this to you all today. But you all have seen this report before. It's just a nutrition and physical activity report card required by the state in terms of a review of our lunchroom program, which includes, of course, our school lunch and our school breakfast. And we also have to report physical activity within our schools as well. So Y'all, I'm sure have had time to review this, and what Melinda said she would be glad to do is she would come back at another time. Of course, she'll be at the next meeting. We'll just take some time then if you all have any questions. But she does need approval of this report tonight to meet the KDE deadline. So my recommendation to you is that we would approve this report.
Do we have a motion? Just a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay.
And let's just say that, just a quick note that what a fantastic job our cafeteria personnel do, our Melinda leading that program, and then our cafeteria managers along with our cooks, and they do a fantastic job for our kids. I think they are a little bit, they feel a lot better about lunches and breakfast with some of the regulations. It's been relaxed a little bit in terms of some of the requirements that sort of made meals not as appetizing as they were before. I think that's helped a lot with participation, but we're very thankful for what they do every day because they get to touch the lives of every kid in this district each and every day. So we're thankful for what they do.
Absolutely. Okay, next on the agenda, we have facilities, we have a construction update, and first is Estill Springs.
Well, we'll ask Peter to come up, and I'll take the first item just to take Peter off the hook. In 2005, there was an act put into place. It's called the Energy Policy Act, and what that did, that allowed for architects and engineering firms as they design new energy efficient buildings for different school districts, and this is not just a state program. My understanding is this is a nationwide program that allows these architect and engineering firms to receive a tax deduction towards their taxes that they pay, which of course allows them to offer us services at a reduced cost. It does impact what we actually pay as well for some of the services that they do. This is really a no cost benefit to our board, but it is important to our architectural firm, and I feel like they've been a great partner of ours. They've worked in this school district now for several years, and most of the building improvements you see in this district that has went from multiple high school renovations to a brand new facility at West Irvin, now practically a brand new facility at Estill Springs, and of course moving into this year and next year a brand new bus garage. It will be complete sometime in August, and a career tech center that will be complete next spring. They have been a great partner for our school district, and I really feel like my recommendation to the board is that you would approve them applying for this energy tax credit. Again, no cost to us, but it is a big benefit for them and a great honor for me to recommend this to you all.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I can make a second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All right.
Thank you all, and thank you, Peter, for what you all do for us. I know Ron has since retired on December 31st, and so we've seen a lot of leadership change at Ross Tarrant, but they continue to provide great services for us, and I guess we're ready now to close out the Estill Springs project. So Peter, you're up.
Yeah, so I am here with the microphone to present the final pay app for the Estill Springs renovation project to you guys. It has been reviewed, and the design team would recommend approval. This is the final pay app, and we had a couple of tough punch list items that took a little while, and one final, if you remember, change order for some concrete last month, which is why we're coming in a little bit later on this project. But yeah, the pay app is for $85,535.40. Really good to hear that the school got Energy Star this year already. That's good news.
My recommendation, as Peter's is to approve the final pay app for Estill Springs.
Do we have a motion?
I make the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay. So now we move on to
The BG4.
BG4.
Yeah, which is KDE's construction closeout form. There is one more form after this, which will, the district will take care of, called the BG5. But the BG4 ends the construction. It is the closeout of the construction contract. And the information on it, I'd be happy to answer any questions. It basically runs through the final totals for financial sums, and then the important critical dates, like occupancy and sprinkler and fire alarm, sort of those landmark dates that they hit in the project. And I would recommend approval.
As would I.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? All right.
So for your all's information, Angie will be bringing a BG5 for this project to the next board meeting, along with a BG5 for the roof projects, which we finalized last time. I guess the board does need to start thinking about, and maybe we need to decide at the February meeting, but I do think it is appropriate to have a open house at Estill Springs for the public to come in and see that building. And we need to work hand in hand with the administration there at the school, but you all be thinking about when you would want to do that. Sometime this spring would be appropriate. And we can do it in an afternoon after school or whenever y'all want to. So maybe just in your all's discussions, especially we're going to be at the KSBA here next month, so y'all can sort of come up with a time with it when you want to do it, and we'll coordinate with them, and we'll have an open house and sort of a opening or reopening celebration ceremony for Estill Springs. So thank you all.
Moving right along, we have the Area Technology Center.
Well, we got Jeremy with us, and I don't know, he may defer something to Peter, may not, however they want to do it, but just give us an update. It's good to see construction started on that site. So Jeremy Faulkner with Codell's with us.
Yes, sir. So good evening, Mr. Saylor, board members, faculty, and staff that are here in attendance. My name's Jeremy Faulkner. I'm with Codell Construction. And I'm honored to be the construction manager overseeing all operations of the new Estill County Area Tech Center. I'm excited about this project and what it's going to do for this region. My number one goal as construction manager is to turn over a state-of-the-art technology center by the beginning of the school's fiscal year 2021. Through good collaboration, communication, and monitoring the progress, which are all key factors of a successful project, we will meet our scheduled milestones to do that, and I'm confident that we have a great team to get that job done. Just a quick brief, we had a 16-day delay due to contract approvals. I don't know if Peter wants to elaborate on that, but that caused the new update that was sent to you, Mr. Saylor. That start date moved from, notice to proceed moved from 12/16 to 1/6/2020. $0 change orders were written to all contractors for those 16 days. Any questions on that? Just a quick 2-week look behind what we've been doing up to this point. From 12/16 to 1/6, we haven't been just sitting around. We've been submitting a lot of submittals to the architect, getting ramped up on the quick ship drawings on that schedule and getting those approved, so there's no bumps in the road as we move forward. A 2-week look ahead. We've started on site demo and initial earthwork. Site utilities have started to be demoed, and they will start to be relocated this coming week. We will continue mass excavation and grading going forward, and we look to start footers the first week of February. which we'll start on the lower end and work our way to the further back end. Eventually, progress photos will be on Multivista's website, which we can bring up on the screen, and I can walk you all through the progress of the project. I'll be here every month giving Mr. Saylor and the board members an update. If you have any questions or anything, just let me know. Like I said, I'm excited about this project. I know Mr. Saylor is, and I'm sure all of you all are, and I'm glad to get it off the ground.
Jeremy's been out there each and every day, and just to let you all know, we do have our first construction meeting tomorrow with the new progress. I think it's at 9:30 tomorrow. Of course, Jeremy is the on-site eyes and ears of the project, working with his team at Codell, and of course, our architects are still very much a part of that. All submittals, all changes that need to be made in terms of RFIs, requests for clarifying information on the project and that stuff. The architect is very much involved in that, so they'll be back. Peter will be back here in the morning. Thought about just letting him stay all night here at the board building, but he decided he wanted to go home tonight, so he'll go home and come back in the morning. But you've got your timeline there in front of you. I've been assured by Codell they will push that timeline. You have a completion date, a final completion date. As of right now, it's May of 21.
Yeah, 5/5.
And we know that there'll be some weather days, there'll be some things, but now the contractors have been told this is not a project that can lay around. If there's weather days, that they know that, I think as part of the bid process, they knew that weekends could come into play. They knew that there was a hard, fast deadline in order for this project to be done. And Jeremy, I know, will be our eyes and ears on the ground in order to do that. So I think the only thing that right now we need approval on, first of all, does anybody have any questions for Jeremy?
Why did we not have the original sums for two of our contractors? For the landmark and for Sprinkler and for the next?
Which one? That was the change orders here that you're talking about?
Well, you'll look at each of the other contractors and they have the original contract signed, but they do not have for those two.
I don't know. Do you all know?
Must have just been a typo. It needs, it probably needs to be included. Yep.
I know I have signed all the contracts.
Yeah.
All the contracts have come across my desk and have been signed.
Yeah, they're all approved. Yep. Probably. Right. I'll get with our office on that.
And you have the list of the change orders there, and again, because of the start date, each one of the contractors had to be given 16 days because of this 16-day delay. This is a no-cost change order to you all, so I think we can approve it with one motion, and that would be to approve change orders 2-1 through 15-1 for this project. And that would be my recommendation.
Do we have a motion? Okay. Do we have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, approved.
And we did add Multivista as item number D. You all approved the Multivista contract, and really it was approved before the bids actually came in. Of course, once the bids came in, we approved all the change orders and included, or not change orders, I'm sorry, all the alternates that were part of the project. And one of those alternates was the pedway and the construction at the high school that involves a new youth service center and corridors that will connect the band room to the hallway, which will allow us to get the traffic out of our auditorium And there's also another office that would be on the second floor that can be used for our different programs that would be there. So that is that particular alternate was $1.5 million, not included in the original Multi-Vista package. I've asked them to quote that, and they got it back to me today. I did not even get a copy of that because it came in this afternoon, and I've been in Lexington most of the day. But it's a $2,900 add for that. It'll be part of our construction project, part of our construction contingency will pay for that. And you got to remember that pedway, there's a lot of detail to that pedway in terms of, that's a long pedway. There's a lot of steel, a lot of concrete. It's something that we really need documented for future purposes, and especially how it ties into our high school. So I really think it's money well worth it. We saw what Multi-Vista can do. So with that, I would ask that we go ahead and just revise that. We'll just make another another motion to approve the addendum to Multi-Vista's contract for the ATC. And it's $2,900. I think I may already gave it to you, Felicia. It's $2,900 and something for that bid, which is not bad.
Make a motion. Do we have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? All right.
It's gonna look good, Peter, with engineers across that.
Isn't that amazing?
In
Yeah.
neon
Blue.
Yeah.
The other part of the Multi-Vista part is for you all to be able to follow progress. You have to log in to your email. Everybody got an email, and you signed in and you created your account. Jeremy's
going to take care of us.
We need to also send Summer's email address so she can also log into the system. The good thing about this system will be that there will be a generic login that will be posted to our website here in the next few days that Jeremy will work with Multi-Vista on. Henry at Multi-Vista, they're working together. So everybody in this community will be able to log in and see photos of this project anytime they want to see these photos, from the beginning to the end, to the ribbon cutting ceremony. You'll be able to see both of these projects from the ground up. So that's really exciting, and I think it's a good, transparent piece so that the public will say, well, what's going on out there on that site? Well, all they've got to do is log in. If they don't have access to a computer, we're here 5 days a week, 10 hours a day most days. If they need to come by and log into a computer, we'll log them right in and let them see whatever's going on that site. But it is an exciting time to get that going. So I guess we would need a motion on the Multi-Vista addendum. We already done it and done both. Good. Sorry.
Don't make us go backwards.
You want to vote again?
Oh.
Unvote and vote again. Okay.
We want a bus garage update.
Good deal. Bus garage update. Peter.
Hey.
He's been in the mud up there today.
I have been in the mud up there today, and it's good that it's muddy. Just to give you, gosh, it was a month ago that I was here, and we were waiting for things to come together on the bus garage project. In that time, we have been able to secure, a building permit, which was pretty important on that one. Held us up a little bit of time. We've been very busy with shop drawings and submittals. Those are still in high gear. And on site today, I saw, they've not only mobilized equipment, but they are excavating, and they have it staked, and they're working pretty critically on getting access to that site. So that'll be what they're doing quickly. A couple of notes on key deliveries. They're expecting concrete structures to arrive by early February, and the building itself is due to arrive by the end of February, which is good. And they did provide a preliminary schedule, and I just will give you some quick highlights of that. They're expecting building erection to take place during the month of April, starting in late March, and then during the month of April, and the fueling station will be done during that time as well. They'll be working on the building interior throughout the summer, And then site concrete will be in late July, and they're hoping to be doing asphalt paving in early August. And our punch is currently scheduled for mid to late August right now for that building. So I'll be happy to answer any questions that you all have on the bus garage project.
And we just received that timeline, I think it was yesterday, so I will email you all the timeline. It appears the same way as the timeline for the ATC, and you all can see those dates when those have. I've made me a note to send that to you all in the morning. And another thought, Mr. Simpson, is that Summer will need to be added to the board contact list so she can receive the same emails, and I can always exclude her if I have to, if it's a personnel matter, okay?
Any questions? Okay, Raven. We next have a bond sale update.
Thank you, guys, for everything. Our bonds did sell last week. Angie will be probably getting a check here sometime the last week of January. I think is about the time they said that the check would be arriving in district. The projected interest rate for the bond sale was set at 2.82%, and in actuality, the bond sold for 2.45%, which is a heck of an interest rate on those bonds. Needless to say, we saved thousands of dollars on bond sale day, which will just allow us to apply that to other projects in the future, which of course we know that our next endeavor will be to finish our high school and complete our athletic facility upgrades. And we'll start those discussions here in the next few days, but Mark will be with us at the next board meeting. He'll give us a final details of the bond sale. He'll also give us an update of our bond rate, our bonding potential moving forward. And once we have that information, then we will need to discuss as a board exactly how you want to move forward. I know there's a lot of people interested out there. I hear it every day. When are we going to do something with our high school and do something with our athletic facilities? We're now where we can start looking at that, and my goal would be is that we can get some planning started in that area, and I know Ross Tarrant's tickled to get started on that and work with us. We've been gathering information for those different projects and some of the different things we've discussed. So it's a lot closer than it was several years ago in order to be able to do those things. So our board, I know that they're excited about that and excited about moving forward, and we'll continue to do that here as we enter the spring. So that's pretty much the bond sale update.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have to approve the fiscal year 21 draft budget.
Angie? We'll let Angie come up, and as you know, each year we're required by statute to have a draft budget in January and approved at the January meeting. This is the one that is sort of, I guess, you know, it's pretty much a reflection of where we're at and sort of taking in some things that we know right now that we will be needing to do for the coming year. But this budget will change between now and May. It will change dramatically based on what's going on in Frankfort right now. As you know, we've started a legislative session, and it will not be over with until April 15th. And then we're required to have pretty much a tentative budget then by May, the May board meeting, which will determine what kind of funding we actually have. So we're really going to be sitting here for the next 2.5, 3 months trying to figure out exactly where we're going. But we've got a good plan. And Angie, if you want to, you'll just go ahead and tell them how we created the draft budget and if they have any questions.
Okay, as Mr. Saylor said, this is the draft budget. It's extremely preliminary, and it's only for the annual fund. So you'll notice on, I think it's page 42, the totals are there. We have
Fund 2 is a special revenue fund, so it's not an annual fund. It goes through multiple years, as well as Fund 360, which is construction. And it's, right now, for 2021, we do not have construction money, but our bond sales are coming, and that budget will be there in 20, not 21, so. Fund 400 is our debt service, and Fund 51 is school food service. You know, Fund 2 is a big player in the budget, and in the general fund, we have just estimated and tried to guesstimate what SEEK was going to be, and we've left it right now at what we have budgeted for this year. We got an email this week that said until probably later this spring, they couldn't even tell us what our tentative was going to be, so. Revenues are basically pretty much the same. We do still have the, our beginning balance budgeted at what it was last year. That will change as well. Our total revenues are estimated at $19.6 million. And as you go through the general fund, all the different function codes are there with the different object codes dividing the categories of spending. Do you all have any questions about these? Because so many of these will change before the May budget, depending on what our Fund 2 revenue ends up being.
And as she said, our revenues are pretty much, you know what they're going to be. You know that we've got our local tax efforts. When you start out there on the very front page of the budget, you've got, of course, your beginning balance. That's your rollover. That's what we end the year with. Remember, our contingency we know is $1.6 million, and that's what we try to keep our contingency at. So you can sort of see last year we rolled over almost $450,000, well, $500,000 more than what our contingency was. Of course, that's money that we put back into programs, you know, that's doing the renovations here at the central office, paying for some of the positions and stuff that we've talked about. Your tax revenue, we've done a good job over the last 2 years trying to get those more in line with what we were actually seeing in terms of our tax revenue. You can also see there that the interest income on investments, I think that will go down a little bit as we see interest rates fall. We're going to see our interest income fall. SEEK is pretty much, it's not going to change a whole lot. We're probably down somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 kids, which has been about average for us over the last few years. So one area that we feel like that there is going to be some possible revenue is the Medicaid for All Act that allows school districts to apply for reimbursement for nursing services, for counseling services. Right now, we're pretty much speech only. There's a little bit within special ed that we're allowed to apply for reimbursement for, but that's going to change. And even though the law changed this year, they do not have the regulations in place to allow us to do that this year. So I guess really the entire state of Kentucky is going to donate a whole year of Medicaid reimbursements because they waited so late to approve it that they can't get the regs in place that will allow us to do that. But that could be a significant funding source for us moving forward. As you know, as a board, you all just approved a new LPCC, which is a licensed clinical counselor, which will be about a $60,000 budget expenditure. You also have a registered nurse, a licensed practitioner nurse. You have a CMA. So you've got those three people along with our health services coordinator. Those are now services that could be reimbursed. It could help the bottom line in the budget once we're able to do that. And you'll still be able to bill for speech and those types of services. As far as the expenditures, we tried to leave, right now our goal would be is that we don't cut any positions if we can. If there's any cuts that will come to the budget, let's say this. If the legislature does not kill us, our plan is right now is to not cut any teaching positions in our district. If there are some cuts, it'll come at the central office level. So it will not happen in the classrooms. So that's our plan as of right now. Now, that could change based on what they do in the budget. There is some hope in the budget that there's talk about that they are going to fund full-day kindergarten. As a board, this board made a decision a long time ago to fund full-day kindergarten, but we only received funding for 50% of that. That is over $400,000 in additional revenue to our school district if that happens. So that's why we're sort of looking at right now, no cuts within our schools. We also have additional money from Community Action Council to expand our preschool program. So there are some good things going on. There's 3 buses in this budget, and right now it's 3. We'll know whether or not it's going to stay at that. Originally, we had 2, but we're hoping. We have received preliminary notice that we're going to receive a $60,000 grant, and that's where I'll leave it at right now. That's for transportation. We've not got the final word yet, and it's not something to go public on. That's why I'll leave out what exactly it is, but if it is, it will apply directly to another school bus. Which is something that we've done a good job on our transportation fleet. It's good now to go to our schools and see buses that all have white tops on them. It was very much a telltale sign when you had buses at the schools and they didn't have a white top. That meant they were over 20 years old. They needed to be replaced, and we don't have that anymore. So we've sort of kept the budget as it is. And we'll see where it goes from there. Anything else, Angie, you can think of that I left out?
Just remember, it's extremely preliminary at this point.
Lots going to go on here in the next 3 months by the time April gets here. So you do need a motion to approve the draft budget.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? It's approved. Moving on to the consent items.
Again, we did add item K, which was the emergency certification for a middle school English position. I want to go up to item number H. I want to withdraw that until we get some clarification on that sign lease document. But looking at those consent items, just real quick, we're going to go ahead and approve our student accident insurance now. It doesn't take effect until July, but it's a good time to do that. That's what we did last year. The surplus items are old, antiquated technology items that no longer have any use to us, and we usually have those recycled through a company that ensures us that hard drives and everything like that are destroyed. We don't have to worry about any information leaking out. So you all know what E is. It's just part of a new federal regulation for our bus drivers. Tonight you are finalizing the policy for, we'd already approved the smoking ban, which of course started in January 1. And I can tell you this, based on preliminary reports from high school, middle school, our community and public has been very accepting of that policy. We've not had anybody that has been in any way irate or mad. Matter of fact, they've not even had to talk to very many people. So, and we've put some policies in place at games to let people know that that's in place. But I think it's going to be something that's going to be widely accepted. And with everything we know about secondhand smoke and some of the issues that we have with smoking and vaping, especially the vaping crisis with the first death here in the past couple weeks in Kentucky due to vaping. I hope that's something that as a community we can get a handle on, and I applaud the board for taking action. We did not have to take action for another year, but I applaud the board for doing that. I think it's the right thing to do. We do have an SFCC offer of assistance, which is part of our facility offers. That's based on your district need, and that money has already been placed in an account. And with your approval tonight, that will allow us to have additional bonding on the next project, which of course is the high school. And the SRO contract, we have moved back to a contract with the Estill County Sheriff's Department. You have that contract in your packet. Officer Josh Risen right now is serving as a SRO, and he's even thinking about possibly staying in that position. I don't think he's made a final determination, but the sheriff is working there to make sure that we finalize who that is. And we have a upward bound trip. 2 of our students have qualified for that EKU trip. I think it's to Atlanta. We need to approve that. And then, of course, the emergency certification for an English position at the middle school. And that's good only through the end of the school year. My recommendation is that you approve the consent items, if there's no questions.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Any discussion, any questions? All in favor? Okay. Any public comments? Moving on, we will let superintendent's report or any board member forum.
Just real quick, you have your notification of personnel actions. I did not bring my activity report. I'll bring it next time with January and February on there. Again, I didn't get back in here today after 2 o'clock, so I failed to get that done. But as always, I'll let you all know what my activities are. Hopefully in the morning, if I don't get a phone call here in the next little bit, I'll be in Frankfurt in the morning meeting with the Commissioner of Education before the state board meeting concerning operations for our career tech school. It is in the governor's office. It is in the hands of the budget director. And our goal is to get the funding for that project, and we have full KDE support now to get that funding for our tech school in the governor's budget. I don't have any fear. I know that the Senate and House leadership, both majorities, the majority in the Senate and the House, both of them have committed to funding this project. I think the governor and his staff, they're just now learning about it. The learning curve has really been short for them because of the election and just taking office. But as you know, Rocky Atkins is serving as his main liaison back to the legislature. Rocky was well aware of this project ahead of time. Rocky has all the information in his hands. And even the lieutenant governor has had this information passed to her as well. So the budget director is aware of it, and hopefully we'll get some good news this coming Friday that we can get that off our plate and not worry about it. I mean, we'll still worry until the final budget's passed, but I do believe if it's in the governor's budget, it's a done deal at that point. We don't have to worry about it. I feel confident it's a done deal anyway, but I'll be bad fooled if we don't get operational funding. There'll be some people that's just flat out that did not uphold promises, and I just don't believe that. I think that they're going to do what they've told us that they're going to do. So with that, the KSBA annual conference, we really need to make a decision. You need to make a decision on motel rooms right now where Felicia can go ahead and reserve those motel rooms for everybody. I've got to let her know what I'm doing tomorrow. So they've got theirs, and we can always get registered. You've got time to pick your registration, but we need to go ahead and get the motel rooms, or you might be staying over in Jeffersonville, Indiana. So you might not want to do that. That'd be a hard commute every morning back over to the Gall House.
Plus you gotta pay toll.
Yeah, pay toll. Well, unless you get somebody to bring you over in a john boat, we can get somebody to paddle you back and forth. And then the calendar committee, I appreciate Miss Sheila Samples for serving on the calendar committee, and you will have a draft calendar at the next board meeting for approval for next school year. It's hard to believe we're talking about next school year, but as of right now, we are about 68 days to the testing window.
Wow.
Somewhere right in that neighborhood. So, I mean, this school year, we'll bat our eyes and it'll be over with, and Summer will be a senior, and we'll be having to try to run her down, find out where she's at. But that's it, unless one of the board members have something.
We need to come to the board meeting.
Nikki, when's your meeting for the calendar committee? Sheila was asking.
Tuesday at 4:30.
Anybody from the board have anything?
Haven't received anything. No, just check my email.
You better.
I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll let you know.
I have a
I'll
second.
second.
Any discussion?
You know, he can be replaced, Sheila.
We are
He
adjourned.
doesn't get